Title: The Crystal of Aetheria. It was a quiet morning in Bright Moon, and Adora was enjoying a rare moment of calm with Glimmer, Bow, and Swift Wind. Peace had finally settled over Aetheria after the defeat of Horde Prime, and the Princess Alliance was working together to rebuild what had been destroyed. But as was often the case, peace wouldn't last long. Queen Angela's voice broke the peaceful silence. Adora, Glimmer, Bow, I need you in the throne room, immediately. Her tone held urgency, and they all exchanged glances. When they arrived, Queen Angela looked more serious than usual. There's been a new discovery in the Whispering Woods, she began. Our scouts have found an ancient crystal hidden deep within. It's called the Crystal of Aetheria, and it's said to hold immense magical power, and a power that could rival even She-Ra's. Adora straightened, intrigued. Is it dangerous? Angela nodded. If it falls into the wrong hands, it could be catastrophic. That's why I need you three to retrieve it. As they prepared to leave, they gathered supplies, exchanging a mixture of excitement and caution. Bao adjusted his arrows, Glimmer's fingers glowed with anticipation, and Adora summoned the Sword of Protection, feeling the familiar rush of power as she transformed into She-Ra. I'm ready, she said, feeling the strength of She-Ra flow through her. Swift Wind trotted over, ruffling his feathers. All right, team, let's do this for Aetheria, and for drama! The Whispering Woods. The group entered the dense and shadowy forest, its twisted trees creaking in the wind. It was eerie, even for seasoned adventurers like them. As they ventured deeper, they noticed the forest growing darker, and the whispers of ancient magic filled the air. Glimmer shivered slightly. I've been through these woods countless times, but it's different today. There's something here. Suddenly, a pulse of energy surged through the forest, and the ground trembled. A dark figure stepped out of the shadows, blocking their path. It was Shadow Weaver. Hello, Adora, she said with a sly smile. I've heard about the Crystal of Aetheria as well, and I think I'll be taking it. Adora tightened her grip on her sword, her eyes narrowing. Shadow Weaver, you're not getting anywhere near that crystal. Shadow Weaver chuckled darkly, her hands glowing with dark magic. We'll see about that. The battle began, with Shadow Weaver casting shadowy spells that tried to ensnare the group. Bo fired his arrows to keep her off balance, and Glimmer used her teleportation powers to dodge and create distractions. Adora clashed with Shadow Weaver directly, her sword blazing with light against the dark magic. But as they fought, they didn't notice the dark mist forming around the edges of the forest. It was Horde magic. Guys? Bo called out, pointing to the mist. Emerging from it were robotic Horde soldiers. They surrounded the group, cutting off their escape. Glimmer's eyes widened. How are they here? Horde Prime is gone. Shadow Weaver took the opportunity to slip away. Good luck finding the crystal. It won't wait for you. She sneered as she vanished into the shadows. Swift Wind pawed the ground. We're not letting her get away with this. Adora nodded. Let's take down these bots fast so we can keep moving. With renewed energy, they charged into battle. Adora's sword glowed with magic, cutting through the Horde soldiers, while Bo's arrows flew, and Glimmer's teleportation helped them dodge every blast. It was intense, but their teamwork proved unstoppable, and soon the soldiers were defeated. The Crystal of Aetheria. After defeating the robots, they pressed on, guided by the faint glow of the crystal deep within the forest. Finally, they reached a clearing where the crystal floated above an ancient stone pedestal. It was beautiful, shimmering with an ethereal blue light, pulsing with the rhythm of a heartbeat. Glimmer stepped forward. Wow, it's even more powerful than I imagined. Just then, a figure emerged from the trees. Shadow Weaver returned, this time with more Horde soldiers. I can't let you take that crystal, she said, her eyes narrowed. Adora raised her sword. I'm not letting you get it either, Shadow Weaver. Shadow Weaver smirked. That crystal could be the key to restoring my magic completely. With its power, I could shape Aetheria however I please. You wouldn't understand. You're right, Adora said. I don't understand, because I fight for my friends, not for power. The final battle erupted. Shadow Weaver's dark magic wrapped around the crystal, trying to pull it toward her. Adora called out, for the honor of Grayskull. She felt the surge of power and rushed at Shadow Weaver, breaking through her shadows with radiant light. Glimmer and Bo took down the Horde soldiers, and Swift Wind swooped in, knocking Shadow Weaver off balance with a mighty gust from his wings. With one final push, Adora slashed through Shadow Weaver's dark magic, severing her connection to the crystal. Shadow Weaver screamed as her power dissipated. "You don't know what you're doing," she hissed. But Adora held her ground, her sword blazing. With Shadow Weaver defeated, Glimmer used her magic to lift the crystal from the pedestal containing its energy. "Let's get this back to Bright Moon," Glimmer said, still awestruck by the crystal's beauty. Shadow Weaver staggered back, her face twisted with anger. "This isn't over." She spat before vanishing into the shadows once more. Returning to Bright Moon. Back in Bright Moon, they secured the crystal in the palace, protected by layers of enchantments. Queen Angela met them, relief evident on her face. "You've done a great thing today. The Crystal of Aetheria will be safe under our protection." Adora smiled. "It was a team effort," Bao grinned. "We make a pretty good team, huh?" Swiftwind struck a pose. "The best! I mean, who could resist my wingspan and charm?" They laughed, but each one of them knew they just narrowly prevented something terrible. The Crystal of Aetheria's power was safe, for now. But deep in the shadows, Shadow Weaver still lurked, plotting her next move. And in Aetheria, there was always another adventure just around the corner.